There are two ways to save a large sum of money. One, you could increase your income, and two, you spend less. I recommend both. Hi guys, it's Kate. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to get into some great content, and if you are returning, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Let's talk about some saving money strategies that help me save $20,000 to pay off my car. Saving $20,000 does not happen overnight. And for those of you that aren't familiar with me, I am a single mother. I make a modest income as an administrative assistant. So obviously there was going to have to be some things that I was willing to cut. There was going to be things that I would have to do in addition to my regular source of income so that I could increase the income and save as much money as possible. I think of the two, the easiest thing to do is start with what you can cut. If you are serious about saving a large sum of money, you have to know the difference between what is necessary to spend money on and what is not, and you need to be willing to let go of what is not until you achieve that goal. Let's talk about want versus need. So when I first made this decision to save $20,000, it's kind of a lofty goal, especially being a single mom with the income that I have. It was kind of like, really? But in 2015, I leased a car for the first time. And in retrospect, if I could go back in time, I would have never leased a car. I don't know if you follow Dave Ramsey, but Dave Ramsey claims that leasing a car is the most expensive way to own a vehicle. And after some research, I agree. And I was just so enamored by the new car smell and the leather seats and the moonroof and the heated seats because I live in the cold. And I was just dazzled by what I could have in comparison. I had a Ford Focus to start, which Ford Focus is a fine car, but I had a little toddler at the time, and we were getting stuck in the snow constantly, and it was stressing me out. And the lure of a new car with all-wheel drive, that just fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And while I'm thrilled to be driving this car now, in retrospect, I would have never spent this kind of money on a vehicle. Just want you to know that. So I'm not saying necessarily follow in my footsteps, because I wouldn't recommend that. I would have bought a used car at a much cheaper price. But since this is the path I chose, I'm going to show you how I got out of it. And by got out of it, I meant hustle my butt off so that I could pay it off and not have debt. So what are your needs? What do you need to pay for? There's a very simple formula for this. And again, learn from Dave Ramsey. He calls it your 4 walls. You need to take care of your 4 walls no matter what. And that is your food, you need to eat. You need shelter, and that's including like your utilities. You need transportation to get to your job. So your car insurance, your gas. And the last is basic clothing. So those are your 4 walls. Those are the things you need all the time. So first of all, take those 4 things and try to see if you can cut down on them, which is what I did. So I rent. I don't own a house. I rent. So that's one thing. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have insurance. And I know that's controversial of rent versus buy, but right now I rent. So you need to be living in a place that is the most affordable for you. Food. Now I just did a whole video on how to save money on food, and I'll leave that in the description, but you can cut back on food and groceries. You need to still eat. Don't be malnourished or anything, but you can cut back on your groceries. I'm sure there's some packaged food that you buy, some processed food, some extra stuff, some sweets, some chips, some stuff that you could cut back on. Maybe less meat. Take a look at your grocery bill and be ruthless about your grocery bill. That's one huge thing you can cut back on. I only have to provide for myself and my son. He is 5 now. But I'm very strategic in my groceries. I make sure we have enough for all meals and some snacks. but we do not go overboard. I do not like wasting food, and that's something big I had to change because I didn't even know how much I was spending on groceries. And then when I realized it, I was like, ooh, that's definitely something I could cut. So we've talked about your rent or your mortgage, your groceries, clothing. You don't have to buy clothes for a while probably. If you're an adult and you have a wardrobe, you don't need to keep buying more clothes. Maybe just for this time while you're trying to save, don't buy anything. Your kids use hand-me-downs. We use hand-me-downs all the time. We almost never buy clothing. If you've seen that in one of my other videos, we get hand-me-downs and we use them all the time. And you don't want your kids to go out without, like if they need new sneakers or something, of course, you know, get that. But just be very mindful of what you could do without. And I guarantee the adults you could do with a lot less clothes. You don't need to shop every season. You don't need to have the latest in everything. If you're serious about saving money, don't buy it for now. Don't do it. And the other thing, transportation, which is why this whole video is underway in the first place. Find an affordable way to get around. Don't have to buy the latest car. You don't, as you're learning in this video. You don't need to have the latest car. Batch your errands so that you don't have to waste too much gas. Make sure you shop around for the best car insurance so that you have the lowest rate with that. And I'm notorious for calling for all my bills. My cell phone, my car insurance, every little thing, I'm always trying to get the best rate with. And that takes a little time, but you can do it. So in the end there, take those 4 walls, make sure you have that. Make sure you have your 4 walls taken care of. But beyond that, you're probably not going to like the next part, but let's talk about what you can do without. Now's the fun part. What can you do without? Another way to kind of think about this, you guys, is if you lost your job tomorrow and you had no income coming in, what would you have to spend your money on? And that is what we just talked about. Everything to keep your family warm, safe, and fed is what you need. Everything else, cut it out. This is temporary. Again, this is if you're serious about saving money. I had to cut everything else out during this time. And you might even be wondering, like, why was saving this money so important to you? It was because I don't want to be in debt in any way. I don't have any credit card balances. I don't have any student loan payments. I worked my butt off earlier in life to pay those off. And the only thing I had hanging over my head was this car payment. It was driving me nuts. I didn't want it anymore. I don't want to owe people money. You don't want to owe people money. You want to have that money to save. I want to invest that money into my retirement. I didn't even know anything about retirement prior to this journey. Honestly, like I did not, 401, what? I did not even know about that. Roth IRAs, didn't understand it. But now these things are on my radar and I want to be ready for the future. So all these things are in preparation. The less bills you have now, if you can crush them, the less interest you're paying, then you can use that money toward your future, toward your child's future, and that is great motivation to me to have my child have an amazing future. If you haven't seen my video of 20 things I no longer spend money on or I no longer buy, check that out. I'll leave it somewhere here too, because those are things that are ongoing that I no longer spend money on, and that's been key in saving more money so that I can pay off this debt. So as far as what you're cutting, I don't have cable. Please don't think like I didn't go out ever. I put that in the budget, but if you don't have a budget, that's going to be a problem. Do you have a budget? Do you have a written, unique budget for every month? I have a budgeting video. Again, I will link on how I budget. And I feel like it's the simplest way to save money. If you don't have a budget, you don't know where that money's going. You guys, I did not know. Okay, let me go back to, in 2015 is when I leased the car. 2016 is when I discovered Dave Ramsey. And I paid off the car in January of 2018. So, as you can see, I all of a sudden had to switch gears when I realized I had just made a mistake. So anyway, budgeting, if I had not found everydollar.com, and I don't know why some people don't find it to be the best tool ever, I find it to be the most useful tool, everydollar.com. It's a Dave Ramsey tool. It is so awesome. It is so user-friendly. If you want me to do a video on how I do that, let me know in the comments. I would be happy to make a video because it has changed my life. It literally changed my life. I started using that tool in the summer of 2016. It takes about 3 months to get a rhythm going with that. So don't give up. Don't make one budget and then be like, oh, it didn't work out. I miscalculated. No. And in the Every Dollar tool, you can keep adjusting numbers to watch that budgeting video. I swear that will help. But I will do another one for you if you'd like. It is so telling of what you're spending your money on. And you have to be willing to track every single transaction to get started. And actually, I still do that now. I track every single dollar that leaves this house. Now, if you haven't, again, studied Dave Ramsey, he does a zero based budget, which means you plan all of your money to zero. So when people are like, oh, what are you left with when you're done with your budget? Zero, because you've given every single dollar a name. And that is what I do every month. Every month, I give every dollar a name. It's like a job. Every dollar gets a job to do. Some get the rent, some get groceries, whatever it is. But you have to assign your money a job. Otherwise, you don't know where it went. Going out to eat less, not binge online shopping. There's so many ways that you can cut back if you comb through your budget. And that's what I did. So I have savings, I have household, which is the 4 walls. I have giving, which we haven't gotten into yet. And I also have lifestyle. Those are the things beyond the 4 walls that you can spend your money on. That's how my budget is set up. And while you're trying to save this big amount of money, you need to worry about savings, you need to worry about household, and you actually still have to worry about giving, because I swear, ever since I started giving money away intentionally every month, I have more money. Is that weird? If you have a generous heart, I don't know if it's karma, I'm not sure what, but don't just think because you don't have a lot of money that you can't still give to other people. And that, I'm not going to focus on that today, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Think abundantly. Okay, I think this has gone way longer than I was intending to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a part 2, and I'm going to talk about how to increase your income, because that's the other important part. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't clicked subscribe, please do so, and give me a like if you are enjoying this content and if you want to hear more. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, guys.
Have you subscribed yet to my mama's channel?